Hello and welcome to the stream. It is Monday, August 17th, 2026. And I'm back. It's been a couple months. I took a little bit of time off and I got a new, what do you call this, microphone. And I'll be trying to shape up the podcast a little bit more so that way we can get to streaming kind of on a regular basis. I'm thinking probably at least 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we'll go from there. We do have some interesting news today. Here, as you see, Trump has threatened Oman, who has been negotiating on the United States' behalf for the most part. As the wars kind of drug on, they are now exposed and just sitting ducks there. It looks like Iran will punish them, and so they seem to be distancing themselves a little bit from the U.S., and Trump has threatened to strike them if they don't do what we say. So we'll see how that goes. So the Iran war escalates just a tad there. Ukraine also launches a massive drone attack. So first we have Trump saying that Iran should surrender while threatening military action against Oman if it gets in the way of his effort to open the Strait of Hormuz. While all eyes are on the Middle East, Ukraine just launched the largest drone attack of the war on Russian soil. They're saying nearly 1,500 Ukrainian drones were involved in a 24-hour period. So we'll take a look at that story. We'll try to pull some videos from X. Bear with me here, folks, as it's kind of a one-man operation trying to adjust my screens here, make sure we get every bit of news, and then we'll transfer over to X. So, in addition to that, Trump also made another huge foreign policy move. It's hard to really listen to Trump anymore, take him seriously, but he is saying crazy stuff. And, for example, yesterday he tweeted about South Korea and North Korea, right? So he's ordering cuts to the U.S. South Korean military exercises. Critics warn that North Korea could use this to help Russia in this situation. So, on top of that, we are struggling as fuel prices continue to increase. Maybe we'll take a look at diesel as well. I haven't taken a look at that in a while just to see what the local prices are. So, that's just a little bit of the chaos we got. So, let's just jump into it. Today will be a chill stream. We're going to go through X, go through some of these top stories. I also want to pull up and listen to Mario Newfall and Larry Johnson. We'll listen to that quickly and comment because they typically cover all the news of the day for as far as Iran goes. And Trump and any of his latest statements. So we can pause, look for videos, comment on that. So let's just kind of get started. So I'm AJ Garcia. This is Monitor the Situation. We're trying to get the stream growing. So if you enjoy it, easiest thing you could do is drop a like, a subscribe, share it with your friend. Just like or subscribe. The QR code there at the bottom right hand side, that will give you access to all the socials. So if you go there, that's the buy me a coffee. You don't have to donate money, but at the very bottom you could see all my socials. You can click on them, find my X, Rumble, Kick. Rumble and Kick are kind of my favorite, but we put this on YouTube and Twitch as well. So pick your poison there, and if you really like it, donate $1 or so. If you subscribe or join in the chat, see the chats will pop up here. Let me see if I can control the chat. See, so we're streaming live. So if you drop a comment, it will show up on the chat unless you're on Rumble, I believe. So with all that said, let's dive into some of this. Put in my earphone so I can hear. Let's get started with what I was listening to earlier. I want to listen to it with you guys at 1.25 speed. This is Larry Johnson, former CIA intel analyst, and Mario Newfall. I think he's New Zealand journalist. New Zealand or Australian. I'm not sure what he is. He's headquartered in the Middle East. He does great reporting. He's got a channel where they do about 7 hours a day between him and Brian Weichert. Or Brendan Weichert, my apologies, at We Are the Brendan. So they do a really good job. That's how I get some of my news. They kind of try to play it down the middle, play it safe, depending on who their guests are. But Larry's the one that I typically listen to every day. So let's take a listen.
I didn't get notified we were doing this.
Here I am. Is attack Oman again. Have you seen that?
Yeah. It's like he's sitting there scratching. Well, you know why? He's wanting to attack.
They're doing what the Iranians want, not what the Americans want, I guess.
Correct. Yeah, I'm sure that he's been briefed that Oman and Iran have basically reached an agreement. Oman's going to charge tolls and basically tell the United States, sorry. But here's Oman to put themselves front and center to mediate between the United States and Iran back in February. And, 2 days before Trump launches his surprise attack, the Omani representative goes to Washington to say, hey, it was good talks and we're moving in the right direction. And then Trump just, fucks him is the crudest way to express it, but that's what happened. And so
the Omani guy went on 60 Minutes as well.
Yeah, you expect some loyalty.
So let's watch a couple Oman videos.
Oman this morning you said you would bomb the S out of Oman if they got in the way of reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Would you say you're out of patience with Oman, a strategic partner?
No, I don't think they behave very well, but we'd handle them very easily, just like we do other things.
So he said they didn't behave very well. We handled them. Okay.
But first, breaking tonight, President Trump tells Fox News there is a direct back channel with Iranian officials as the 60-day window for a broader peace deal expires. The president saying Iran should surrender, that he's in no hurry, and that he will bomb Oman if that country gets in the way. Presidential envoy Jared Kushner also telling Fox News Iran is not willing to make a real deal at this point, but adds conversations between the U.S. and some Iranians are more robust now than they ever have been. Correspondent Lucas Tomlinson starts us off tonight live from the North Lawn of the White House. Good evening, Lucas.
Good evening, Brett. In an interview with Fox News, President Trump says he's promising to bomb the blank out of Oman if it gets in the way of a peace deal with Iran. Oman and Iran
bomb the blank. Bomb the shit.
A few weeks trying to get the Strait of Hormuz open.
Insane. So a lot of people, not just Tucker Carlson, but a lot of analysts, not going to say people, a lot of really informed analysts that I respect have said that Oman probably is one of the best, diplomatic countries, typicically seeking peace, amongst all those countries in the Middle East, right? So Trump is saying that we will bomb just kind of picking on them because they don't really have another option. They, are dealing with Iran on one side with drones. They've got no American protection anymore. None of those countries do, and none of the Gulf states do. And then Trump is saying that we will bomb them if they don't do what we want with the Strait of Hormuz.
I don't think they behave very well.
Virginia Democratic Senator Tim Kaine says he will file a war powers resolution after the August recess to protect U.S. ally Oman. Quote, President Trump is increasingly deranged in his one-man campaign to threaten and initiate wars all over the globe. Today, the official 60-day deadline of the Memorandum of Understanding with Iran expired. President Trump appeared to mouth the word no when asked if it would be extended.
Mr. President, are you seeking an extension on the MOU?
After the memorandum was signed in June, the Wall Street Journal reports Iran took the past 2 months to prepare for a bigger fight, including more attacks on commercial shipping. Retired U.S. Army General Jack Keane predicts that even if Iran agrees to a deal, it will not comply with it.
They are going to ride this economic pressure out in their minds. They think they can withstand it. Even if their people rebel again, they will.
So this is the Boomer News channel, Fox News. So there you see their report. All right, let's keep hearing.
Loyalty out of Oman after getting treated like that.
Yeah.
But hey, who isn't Trump fighting with? Oh yeah, Kim Jong Un. He loves him some Kim Jong Un.
He did a new meme on it.
He loves rotund.
I like these guys because they do cover the news, right? So let's see if we can scurry over and see Trump's tweet. See if we can find his South Korea tweet. It was, wow, he's tweeting a bunch right now about Randy Fine, MAGA warrior, Harvard-educated, successful businessman. What is this? He's not supporting Dan Blazarian? That's a shocking turn of events there. But so Trump is putting out his endorsements. I don't know how grateful a lot of these politicians are going to be to get his endorsement right now. His approval is at an all-time low. Man, lots of endorsements. Can't even find his South Korea tweet. Come on. Okay, here it is, folks. So, based on my very good relationship with Kim Jong-un, North Korea, I'm not happy with the fact that the United States has long ago agreed to participate in joint military exercises with South Korea. These exercises are not only costly, with much of the cost being paid by the United States, but send a signal that is totally inappropriate and hostile to the country, that as long as Trump has been president, has been unthreatening and respectful. So he's trying to reward North Korea, apparently, for being respectful and non-hostile during his presidency. Therefore, and based on the fact that it is too late to cancel, I've instructed Hegseth to substantially reduce joint military exercises. While somewhat unrelated, I recently asked President of South Korea, somewhat unrelated, but he's mentioning it. I recently asked the president of South Korea if they would like to join us in the denuclearization of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and they said, no, thanks. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So this is some of what Larry and
Rotund, chubby
Mario are talking about.
Tyrants with nuclear weapons. That's his thing. Because he says, I too can be a chubby tyrant with nuclear weapons.
I know how to fix your mood. Trump actually posted this. Lisa, you wanna make up for the mistake you guys did? Show this to Larry. There you go. Trump actually posted this. Can you see it? You can see it, yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, Donald, we cool, right?
We cool, right? Yeah, we cool, right? We'd be cool.
And you'd like it.
And at the same time, attacking South Korea.
Yeah, for not helping with Iran or something like that.
Well, yeah, the South Korea Navy, man, that runs right up there with like the Somali Navy.
Yeah.
Would have made the difference. 100% would have made the difference.
Yeah, it would have won the war. If only the South Koreans joined. It's like the Americans joining World War II. If only the South Koreans joined, it would have changed everything.
Everything, night and day, man. Yeah.
Even the Ukraine war would have ended. The South Korea could have ended both wars if they choose to. Poor South Korea. They've had their batteries pulled out. Remember, Trump pulled them out during the war. And he's attacking them. Thing is with Trump, he screws you and then he gaslights you. He takes the batteries out of South Korea that were meant to be there. Like, South Korea, why didn't you guys help? You just took our freaking batteries that we need for North Korea. Now you're being friendly to North Korea.
Yeah, so South Korea is getting everyone's getting fucked, basically, by Trump. All our former supposed allies. I thought this is interesting. So here we have Sergei Lavrov, right? The basically kind of second in command to Putin's head diplomat. This is a story that developed over the last maybe 48 hours. I've seen it on the radar where Japan, let's just read Mario's tweet. Japan told Russia to keep Putin off the Kuril Islands. Moscow's response, Japan ambassador must explain itself. So the Japan ambassador, I saw this about a day or two ago. They were kind of making a stronger claim to these islands that have been disputed, and I believe they are under Russian control currently. So Foreign Minister Lavrov said Tokyo crossed the line by objecting to Putin's visit to Iturup, which Russia considers its territory. So let's just look. I've never heard of this city before. So let's just look it up just so we have, so we're geographically more aware and we'll never forget where this is located. So island, it just says island in Asia. So this island in Asia, Iturup, is, so it looks Kuril Islands, Iturup. This is, so these islands here are disputed. Japan says they're theirs, and then here you got Russia saying it's theirs. So this is what we got going on, and this is where some of the disagreement came from. So Foreign Minister Lavrov said Tokyo crossed the line by objecting to Putin's visit to Iturup, which considers a Russian territory. The ambassador has summoned, but reportedly said he was away or unwell. Lavrov is not buying it. Japan is deepening defense ties with the U.S., Australia, and others, moving closer to North Korea. So let's...
Господина посла вызвали, он должен прийти в МИД, и мы поговорим, как о поведении японского руководства в связи с визитом президента Путина.
He said, we will conduct, or we will discuss the conduct of the Japanese leadership regarding President Putin to Russian islanders. So he's claiming it.
И в связи с тем, как посол должен строить свою работу в стране пребывания, уважая и ее законы, и те процедуры, которые для дипломатов зарубежных в этой стране, в данном случае в России, существуют. Но
so slight escalation there.
Как поведение.
Yeah, he has. Oh, this is a great soundbite.
Why hasn't Kim Jong-un responded to your request to have a conversation?
How do you know he hasn't responded?
Has he?
How do you know?
Yeah, he has.
Did you speak to him?
Yeah, he has.
What
did he say?
Where are you in conversation?
I'm very positive. Well, just so you understand with South Korea, look, South Korea has been protected by us for many, many years. And during my first term, they agreed to pay close to $3 billion a year for protection. Because we don't, they essentially weren't bad.
Pay for protection.
And I asked them to do that at my request. I said, not right. They weren't happy about it, but they agreed. I asked for $10 billion, and they were very unhappy. But we agreed for a short term that it would be $3 billion, and next year it would go up, and the next year it would go up, so they start paying for their protection. When the election was rigged and I ended up watching for 4 years and then coming back, I watched Biden rescind that $3 billion here for whatever reason. When I called recently the president of South Korea, who I like, I think he's very nice actually, but I called him, I said, would you like to give us a little hand? We don't need help with Iran, but if you'd like, give us a hand with Iran. He said, no thanks. And I said, wait a minute, we have 39,000 soldiers over there guarding you from Kim Jong-un, your next door neighbor, and you're not going to help us? But I called him, I said, easy military operation in Iran? That's strange. No, we'd rather not get involved. I say, well, why are we involved in helping you? So, and I want to help them, but, when you ask somebody, would you like to give us a hand, and they say, no thanks, and then we're guarding them from a country and paying ourselves billions of dollars, it's costing us billions and billions of dollars to protect not only them, but other countries. Look at NATO.
Did he say paying ourselves
hundreds
on accident?
Of billions of dollars protecting Europe from Russia. Hundreds of billions, mostly from Russia, but from other things too. And then they say, well, they don't want to get involved with.
So Trump's talking about how much money
the Strait, where they get most of their oil. They get
these
50%
allies
of their oil,
should be paying the United
Why
States
are we doing it?
for protection.
So all I want is fairness. And South Korea, I get along with them very well, but they were paying $3 billion a year, and then they convinced Biden that I was probably a bad person, and they should.
Biden.
And he immediately rescinded
Biden's fault
that
still.
order. So we were getting paid.
He's like dying.
We would have been getting paid a lot more, but we can't go around and protect all of these countries, especially when they're not there to help us.
They're not there to help us. There it is. What did Benny say? 11 minutes, Benny? Come on.
It's a really hard list to make, but if you're asking for the #1 aura farming moment for President Trump in his second term, it's certainly his meeting with Vladimir Putin on the red carpet in Alaska at the military base, where Trump flies a B-2 stealth bomber over Putin's head without telling him what's about to happen.
That was a flex. I remember that. That was a flex.
And you can see Putin says impressive and he's actually turning his head, cocking his head around, being like, wow, look at that. Freaking amazing. Like the angles of this are just spectacular. In all the histories of all the people of Earth. To say here is you can't find any clip of me disavowing would be no South Korea, the communist would.
Okay, let's
North
hear this
Korea,
breakdown.
or Russia or walking in to North Korea.
I never expected to meet you at this place. It's good. It's my honor. I'm okay with that.
사상 처음으로 우리 땅을 밟으시는 미국 대통령이 되십니다. I'm okay with that. Forward. You will be the first U.S. president to cross the border. I'd be very proud to do that. Okay, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
Donald Trump meeting with Kim Jong-un. That's the best aura farm of President Trump's. Like one of the best things that happened in President Trump's first term was the normalization of relationships with North Korea. This doesn't mean that North Korea or Russia or any of these places are great places, or Iran, but it does mean that President Trump is trying his best to create that sort of ugly peace moment, which is what all peace, frankly, is. Unless you burn a nation to the very ground and just slaughter everybody, do you really want that? You know, it's been tried in Korea. Just a reminder that this is the state of the Korean War, that South Korea simply wouldn't exist. South Korea had been thoroughly defeated without U.S. air power.
Wow.
And logistics.
I wonder how accurate this
South Korea, the communists would have completely won.
They were done.
But with U.S. help, and a lot of U.S. lives, 55,000 lost U.S. lives, they were able to defeat the North until they got reinforcements from communist China. And then everybody said, okay, stalemate again. And we'll just call it good at the 38th parallel, all right? We'll just say, have we had enough here? Yeah, we've had enough here. And they created two Koreas, North and South. Okay. But is that parallel that Donald Trump just crossed? And now it looks like somebody else is crossing Donald Trump. Trump gushes about Kim Jong-un as he ordered scaled-back military exercises with South Korea after countries' two-word snub over Iran war. Let's go ahead and read. President Donald Trump is scaling back military exercises with South Korea. And he has a very good relationship with Kim.
The problem I have with it is that Trump basically said that he canceled it, added that caveat, basically essentially because they wouldn't help us with the Iran war. I mean, come on, dude.
Jong-un, leader of North Korea. Trump also made sure to mention how South Korea responded when the U.S. asked the country for help with the war against Iran. According to the president, South Korea simply said no thanks to helping denuclearize the Middle Eastern country. So Donald Trump writes this. He says, based on my very good relationship with Kim Jong-un and North Korea, I'm not happy with the fact that the United States has long ago agreed to participate in the joint exercises with South Korea. Exercises are costly. Trade that as long as Donald Trump. While somewhat unrelated, I recently asked the president of South Korea if he would like to join us for the denuclearization of Iran, and he said no thanks. So this is Donald Trump playing hardball, right? With picture. Handsome and thin.
I understand him. He understands me. You're doing war games. Occasions, spoken and spent time. I understand him. He understands me. You're doing war games. I get along with him. You know, he didn't like Biden. He didn't like Obama. He didn't like anybody. But I get along with him very well. No, what I'm doing is making things safer.
Did he ask you to scale back on those?
Both French shape.
Very disrespectful.
They both love missiles.
Okay.
They both have a daughter. They want to give the world to.
I'm with CNN.
Fake news.
I just wanted to follow up on the South Korea question.
Fake news.
Boisterous person. You're fake news.
I was trying to find out if you had been talking to Kim Jong-un, if he had asked you to scale back.
You're a fake reporter.
Exciting times. What will we do when it's not so entertaining? We have 39,000 soldiers guarding you from Kim Jong-un, and you're not going to help us with Iran. That's strange, says Donald Trump. Yeah, that's true. Allies, huh? Trump takes zero BS from the reporters. Trump's going off on South Korea. Why are we protecting them when they won't help us in our... And so, no, I don't want that. And
So this is what Larry and Mario started bringing up.
Well, don't forget the 155 millimeter shells as well.
Yeah.
Remember they relied upon South Korea to resupply Ukraine back in 2022, 2023.
Really? I didn't know that one.
Yeah.
Interesting. I thought you were talking about the shells from that factory that was meant to produce and.
Oh no! They were hitting up South Korea for shells to resupply Ukraine, if I remember correctly.
Interesting.
Yeah, look it up.
I love South Korea, by the way. Beautiful country. Beautiful, beautiful country.
So do you like Korean barbecue?
I don't mind it.
Korean barbecue's okay. It's overrated.
Trump says matters so little that's not even worth mentioning. I was speaking to an economist today who said the same thing. It's just become common.
Let's listen to Professor Zhang.
This war, once it starts, can only lead to World War III.
That's a strong statement to make. As a probability, what probability would you assign to that claim?
I would put it pretty high, anywhere between 80 to 90% probability.
So that's certainty.
Basically certainty, yes.
Explain to me how that happens.
Okay. So we need to step back and appreciate that there's a global dynamic going on. Okay. And we need to appreciate the grand strategy of the different players involved. Right. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to explain to you how each nation sees itself in the world.
This is game theory.
Okay. And to do that, I'm going to use a chess set. Okay. All right. This is the king. This is the political system of the United States, which is democracy. And there are certain strengths and weaknesses to democracy. Democracy is vibrant, it's creative, it's flexible. But its ultimate weakness is polarization, where today, the different political factions refuse to get along, and this may bring out the civil war, okay? So the way you defeat the United States is not to conquer it. You can never conquer the United States. The way to defeat the United States is to force it into a civil war, which then kills the king.
From within.
To get its people to rise up against the leadership.
No, you want the Democrats and the Republicans to form different factions and fight a civil war. Okay. You want to create so much political polarization,
but
the different elite factions.
They haven't turned us all against each other.
So this is the political system, okay? The democracy. Now let's look at the Queen. What's the Queen? The Queen is what I refer to as the grand strategy of the United States. How the United States can maintain its control over the entire world. And the grand strategy is already outlined in the National Defense Strategy, right? Let's create Fortress America and then create chaos throughout the entire world so that we can sell everyone weapons and resources. Okay, that's the grand strategy, right? All right. Now, once you have a grand strategy, you need to implement this grand strategy. So you need attack vectors. All right. The attack vectors are the rook, the bishop, and the knight. All right. So let's go over the three major attack vectors of the United States. They are, first of all, America's technological supremacy.
So these are basically the tools that they use to attack others.
Exactly. In order to achieve the grand strategy. All right. So aero supremacy, right?
Which is up the planes and stuff like that.
All right, Zhang.
Common knowledge that what Trump says matters really, really little.
Yeah, he's become like a bad case of tinnitus. You know what tinnitus is? You get this buzzing in your ears, this noise. It's meaningless, but
Trump is he's a lot of noise. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I might change my mind. Decided this morning or last night to grow my hair again. And no joke. Actually, I'll show you because I saw a video actually last among Shiite in Gulf among the MOU expired today. The Iranian is the spokesperson, the foreign ministry spokesperson.
Yes. So the important deadline today is the end of the original MOUs when it expires. So that's why there's a lot of different statements made today and all sorts of stuff. So Mario's going to go into it. We'll piggyback.
This person said, look, the MOU's already been breached. The 60-day deadline is not, that's not a clear, explicit deadline in the MOU that says, this is a deadline where it's a breach. It's just we should be discussing the nuclear program and the Strait of Hormuz and that deadline. It's pretty moot and it's been extended anyway. And then according to Reuters, the Iranians issue an ultimatum to the U.S. asking Trump to return to diplomacy and remove the naval blockade or face an expansion of the war. The deadline, which is set to be several weeks at most, according to Reuters, has been communicated to the U.S. through Qatar and Pakistan. And then the Wall Street Journal also reports, a separate report, that Iran is planning further escalatory attacks against Gulf states should fighting resume. Options include sabotaging internet cables, which the Iranians have threatened before in the Persian Gulf, inciting unrest among
Should ask the
among the
Ukrainians
Shia population in Gulf countries,
how the
think
fighting,
Bahrain,
how the
and possibly
North Korean
ground
fighters were.
operations against Kuwait, according to the Wall Street Journal. Wall Street Journal also quotes several public statements from Iranian officials made recently that indicate that Iran viewed the last war with the US, as in the February-March war, as a precursor to a final and more decisive confrontation. The tables
I think all the Wall Street Journal. I think the Wall Street Journal reports as basically Israeli intel, Israeli propaganda. I don't see Iran gearing up to attack its Gulf Arab neighbors. Why? They're going to sit back. Trump's already pissing off Oman. They're probably going to piss off Qatar too. And the Saudis reportedly have told the United States they can't use their airspace. So Trump's going to start venting on all of them. Why would Iran want to step in and make themselves then the target of ire of those Gulf Arabs when they can just say,
Bruce Lee's
guys,
got nothing.
Man, listen, we're with you 100%.
Guys,
we understand exactly how you feel.
They got that
Trump is a
Mongolian
crazy
Genghis Khan lineage.
But if the Americans go back to full-blown war, the Iranians have already threatened to strike Gulf. They said any attack on their mainland, they will retaliate by striking Gulf energy infrastructure. That's a threat that the Iranians have made explicitly a few times.
Here's the date,
but again,
1950.
if the United States is going to attack, it's really got only three options. It can try to come in from the north, from Azerbaijan or from Armenia. Go and cut a deal with them. If the Saudis say, no, you're not overflying us anymore, you do have the Pakistanis have brought in some of their air defense systems to Saudi Arabia. So in theory, I'm not saying it would necessarily work. In theory, they could be flying. The F-35s might be immune, but KC-135 tankers would not. So those could easily be shot down. And Saudis could say, no, you're going to stop overflying. If they're not overflying Saudi Arabia, they're not going to be able to attack, at least from launching from air bases in Israel. They'll be left with the U.S. aircraft carrier launching F-35s off its deck and maybe some F-18s. But as we've seen, the United States has got some real logistical supply problems that are not going to be solved or resolved anytime in the near future. So, yeah, the U.S. ability to actually launch a new wave of offensive operations, I think, is quite limited.
Yeah, assuming the Gulf countries don't allow their bases to be used again by the Americans.
Trump is not going to get humiliated to the point where Iran is right now, because Iran is at a maximalist point in their demands in terms of controlling the strait, probably the nuclear program, continuing to mock him publicly. So if I were a gambling man and, they had this on Polymarket or whatever, Polymarket, I would say that within the next 3 weeks, Trump is going to start a bombing campaign once again. I don't think he cares too much about the midterms. I think he's going to find a way to honestly cheat and retain enough seats to continue being president without being impeached in the second half of his term. So it's really difficult for me to think that Trump's going to accept the humiliation and concede and leave, and then have the Democrats take over and get impeached, eventually probably have his family taken to court, challenging their pardons and things like that. He's not going to do that. He'll probably take the BB strategy and do more war. I think a safe bet for him, if he is going to use a nuclear bomb, which I think it's probably 40% likely he will, it'll probably be at that site that they made up, the pickaxe site that they're throwing in the media, just so to give us some red meat, right? They're going to say, that's where their nukes are. Trump nuked their nukes. We're going to kill very few people there in that area. It's isolated, heavily fortified. Nothing will happen to it. I think Trump's probably going to drop a nuke there to get more favorable concessions from the Iranians. And I think that happens within the next 3 weeks. One of the reasons I think that is because O'Reilly, I heard him about 3 or 4 days ago, O'Reilly talks to the president. I would say probably at least once a month he goes and he talks to the president, if not more often. And I know he's on call with the president for advice, hash things over, to ask him his opinion. And O'Reilly gives him his opinion when asked, when called upon. O'Reilly suggested that maybe we can find it. He said that Trump is going to use nukes. He's considering it. He's basically warning everybody. So this was the 7th. No, I need something more recent than that. Bill O'Reilly. But that's my reason for thinking that he will escalate the war. So let me see if I can find that. Let's keep hearing from Larry and Mario.
Yeah, and which ones do some might not. Then there's the continuation of that article. By the way, I just thought I'd do this quickly to show how your face was when you first joined the stream. Look how you didn't hide. You're at a time in your life now where you feel what you feel.
There's
you think
a little
what you think,
flex.
You'll say what you think, and you'll show how you feel. You don't give a damn.
Life true.
It's the beauty of being old.
Ago. Sorry.
Just look at your face, Larry. Look at your face. How angry you were. You were so upset. It's like what did I do? I didn't say anything yet. I didn't say anything yet. So I'm like, all the joke about you being late and stuff, I can't say it.
A little tight jawed there.
Anyway, so in the same article by the Wall Street Journal, citing intercepted communications viewed by Arab intelligence officials, report that Iran's IRGC sent commanders to Ansar Allah, the Houthis, before the attack on Saudi, and supervised the deployment of missiles and drones to launch sites near the Red Sea. The IRGC also advised the Houthis on targets and how to protect its officials from Saudi assassination strikes. So according to that report, the IRGC, the Iranians, were pretty involved in advising and supporting.
All right, so this is, I found the clip. It was actually almost a week ago, so I haven't seen the whole thing, but I know that he always has good info.
We're the President of the United States. Tomorrow I take out Pickaxe Mountain, just as we did a year ago with the other nuclear facility. I'd obliterate it, okay? That'd be number one. And then number two, I would tell the Iranians living in Tehran, the capital city, get out. Because we're going to wreck your infrastructure. That means water. That means power. Now, the world would go crazy. You know what would happen. Democratic Party would jump up and down here. Trump would be almost alone. But that is the way to do it. He's got to make very difficult decisions. He didn't want to kill thousands of civilians. He told me that directly. All right? He didn't want to do it. But now there doesn't seem to be any other choice. So these mullahs aren't going to stop. And when somebody isn't going to stop, you have to stop them. And the only way we can stop them is to destroy the infrastructure of their country, which includes the uranium at Pickaxe and the capital city. You do that.
So he's talking about Tehran too.
The president has to make decisions. He didn't want to go in and use air power to kill civilians. Now that equation has changed because Iran's doing everything it can to humiliate the United States of America, everything. And so enough. You know, we've had enough with Japan. We had enough with Germany. We had enough with a whole bunch of other countries. And we took care of that. And we're going to have to do the same thing with Iran. He's not a weak man, not a weak leader. He's calculating now. And he's calculating that Iran will fall before he has to go in and kill thousands of civilians. That's the calculation. But nobody knows whether that's going to pan out.
The Houthis in their attack and maybe preparations.
I agree with O'Reilly. I think it's going to happen.
And I know that there were IRGC members that were killed in Iraq.
Unfortunately.
When the Saudis and the Americans struck the groups in Iraq. Right. To me, I believe that. I just see the axis of resistance have always worked closely together.
Yeah.
There's the same way your allies work together all the time. And the Iranians have always had presence in the Houthi territory. So why wouldn't they support their very strategically important ally?
Yeah, I don't find anything surprising about that report. You know.
Agree. Nothing new. Also, a senior Iranian official told Reuters all Iranian entities will be prepared to escalate tensions in the Strait of Hormuz and the region if diplomacy fails. Sure, that's nothing too significant. They're ready to escalate if diplomacy fails. And Iran defensive to offensive. In other words, if you put these reports today...
This is the quickest way to stop bleeding gums.
They got the weirdest ads on Rumble.
In the last few days, it's pretty clear to me that the Iranians are in what we've talked about a few times. The Iranians are in a position where whatever the Americans do, there's two possible outcomes. I've said this a lot, so for the audience that heard me say this before, I apologize, but it's very important because it sums up my my thoughts on where we are now. There's two paths, two scenarios. Whatever the Americans do doesn't work, so let's say the blockade barely impacts the Iranian economy that can withstand it, so the Iranians just wait it out and wait for the US and the global economy to blink. Or if it does work, let's say shortages in Iran, the currency collapses, etc., whatever it is, if it does work, the Iranians, the only thing all they need to do is they just strike the US. You're blockading us, we're going to strike you, we're going to drag you into a kinetic war because we know you will lose in that one. In other words...
So we were speaking about Trump potentially using nuclear armaments, and I forgot, MTG posted this tweet yesterday, extremely worried, trying to raise the red flag here that they're discussing nuclear weapons in Iran strategy meetings. So it's a long tweet, but she at the end, I mean, she literally just says, do not use nuclear weapons, stop this war now. She's crying wolf. She's hoping that, is this real, a B2? It's probably AI. Not even worth asking Grok. This is the morale. Good going. Frustrating.
There is no scenario that could achieve America's objectives. So Trump is trying the blockade. Jared Kushner talked about the blockade, the economic blockade today in an interview. Besant talked about it. Trump talked about it. That's a strategy he's testing.
Well, what did Kushner say? I haven't heard what he said.
Yeah, he spoke about it today. So he said two things. Right, I've got it ready for you, Larry. At your service.
Good man. Good man.
Right now, Trump is focused on the economic pressure. If Iran is willing to finish the deal that they've been discussing with us to give up their ability to create nuclear weapons, then obviously he's willing to make a deal that could be great for the Iranian people. But right now, they are not.
It's very, very hard to trust. You met with Hamas officials yesterday. Do you think they're genuine about peace? I mean, they said all the right things, but obviously, it's very, very hard to trust. A terrorist organization that committed these terrible atrocities. But we had a very cordial meeting, and they said all the right things, and so we're going to give them a chance to perform. But
does anyone believe he's not a reptile?
Plan to rebuild Gaza, but we will not. We're very committed to the fact that we have a plan to rebuild Gaza, but we will not allow Gaza to be rebuilt.
Albania
until the demilitarization
or Gaza
Nobody
first?
wants to
What
put
gets rebuilt?
More money into
Drop
a place
it in the
that's
chat.
gone on for so long. Until if it's just going to be taken over by terrorists or blown up again. We're also not going to restrict Israel's right to defend itself if there are any.
He's a skinwalker.
What that means, we could be
or a reptilian.
As much as
Not sure.
as little as 30 days. Hopefully, on starting to take some of the weapons out, and hopefully, filling in some of the tunnels as well in the next 60 to 90 days as well. So progress could come quite soon, but we do need
filling in the
cooperation
tunnels,
from both sides.
Cement and gasoline. Cenk Uygur said of the Young Turks, Kushner met with Netanyahu today for 4 hours, and he came out saying the U.S. would back further military action in Gaza. Oh, so an Israeli goes to talk to an Israeli about how America should fund more genocide in Gaza on behalf of Israel. How fucking convenient. Who the fuck is Jared Kushner? He has no official role, so Cenk is going off. Who's in control? I mean... Yeah, I mean, we know Cenk.
A good meeting. We were there for almost 4 hours with him and his team going through all the different details. I think there were some
so Gaza will be rebuilt,
that we were able to
but
address.
not until
and we were
demilitarization
able to go through,
occurs.
Some of the misunderstandings and misinformation that's been out about it as well. I mean, certain things.
So that's what he said today, apparently. Let's hear what else we can find. Here, let's just hear it from Mario.
Are not showing any interest in doing something that makes sense for us. By the way, whenever Trump or Kushner or all of them say nuclear weapons, they're talking about the Strait of Hormuz. Because nuclear weapons, the Iranians are willing to concede the Americans. It's not that important for them as an objective. It's about the Strait of Hormuz. But they can't say the Strait of Hormuz because politically it's suicidal. Because any American that sees it, they're like, hold on. Strait of Hormuz. I thought it was open. Now we're trying, everything's to do with the opening the Strait of Hormuz that was already open. So what they do is they use the term nuclear weapons as a way to justify the reality and hide the reality. But that's what Kushner said. And then he says the conversations between the US government and all areas of the Iranian government are probably more robust than it's maybe ever been. There's been a lot of good dialogue, which I think is very, very helpful. There's really not a lot of trust between America and Iran after all these years of not having these relations and dialogues. They are engaging in a very strong way, and that is quite positive. But we are not there yet on understanding. And Trump will be very patient. He doesn't want to rush a deal. Trump will make the right deal when the right deal is ready. But we are having very positive and active conversations.
Yeah, well, they're not having conversations with Iran. They're having conversations with
Brent
the Pakistanis.
oil is at 91, almost at $91 right now.
And the Iranians
very high.
And not as much Qatar. Well, they are. I'm not hearing about that. I am hearing about the Pakistani chats. And, the Iranians have basically told the Pakistanis, hey, we live by the MOU. They didn't. They broke the MOU. They broke the ceasefire. We didn't. They've got to come back and show some good faith in rectifying that, or we've got nothing to talk about.
Let's hear from Rubio.
I think they're pretty comfortable
I
with
haven't
that.
seen this yet. Larry and Mario kind of midway through they start fading out, so we might or may not listen to them anymore. Let's take a listen.
Need to take over the Venezuelan oil industry.
Well, we don't need to. First of all, let me go back up. We don't need Venezuela's oil. We have plenty of oil in the United States. What we're not going to allow is for the oil industry in Venezuela to be controlled by adversaries of the United States. You have to understand, why does China need their oil? Why does Russia need their oil? Why does Iran need their oil? They're not even in this continent. This is the Western Hemisphere. This is where we live. And we're not going to allow the Western Hemisphere to be a base of operation for adversaries, competitors, and rivals of the United States.
Have specific oil companies?
We also want to see that oil and the proceeds from it. Hold on. We want to see the oil proceeds of that country benefit the people of Venezuela. Why have 8 million people left Venezuela? 8 million, the single largest mass migration probably in modern history, left Venezuela since 2014 because all the wealth of that country was stolen to the benefit of Maduro and his cronies in the regime, but not to the benefit of people of Venezuela. You know how destabilizing 8 million migrants is? The number one fear that Brazil has, that Colombia has, that all these countries in the region have about what's happening in Venezuela and our involvement is they're afraid of another mass migration event. That's what they fear. This is deeply destabilizing stuff. It's not going to continue to happen. They are not going to come from outside of our hemisphere, destabilize our region in our own backyard. And
well, we just took all the Venezuelan oil, and Colombia's going to fall soon. Mexico's falling into place. But we still got our army fighting for Israel overseas. So I wish I could agree with the secretary, but our soldiers are on the other side of the hemisphere over there doing
with that position. The notion that they are going to be in such economic pressure that they're going to have to break and bend to Trump's will, I think, is fanciful, because 11 years ago they didn't have an off-ramp with respect to sanctions. The Russians were enforcing the sanctions, the Chinese were enforcing the sanctions, along with Europe and the United States. Once Trump walked away from that, then that created an opening, and in response to that opening, it's worth noting that Iran started conducting joint military exercises with Russia and China within months of Trump walking away from the JCPOA.
So Brianna Morello, she's right-wing. Not right-wing, but she's, a conservative, mostly on the right journalist. I like her a lot. But she just posted Trump endorsed Maria Salazar again, and that she's the leading Republican pushing mass amnesty. So this again, Brianna Morello, someone that used to work for Fox News, that was a producer there, worked for Alex Jones recently, did the American Journal. So she does a lot of investigative stuff. She's honestly a good journalist, and she's just disappointed, man. And she always is calling this stuff out. It's another thing about how Trump has betrayed the conservatives, right? So Trump's just a guy that'll tell you what you want to hear. So until he gets in office, enrich himself, enrich the deep state, do whatever it is that they want to do. And Brianna's just kind of calling him out. So this is one of the 50 endorsements Trump had. I'm sure Trump probably doesn't even know that. He doesn't care. So
the foundation for cooperation between Russia and China was there. And now, in terms of trade, both Russia and China, they've got no incentive to cooperate with the West whatsoever. They're setting up an alternative financial system. I had one energy analyst who works in the region. He sent me the following. He says, the house of cards is about to collapse. The hegemons, referring to the U.S. and Europe, have run out of road. This happens when the physical market commodities, such as oil and gas, natural resources, etc., overtake the derivative Ponzi scheme. But you have to, that's all a paper transaction.
All right.
Most Gazans understand that.
Oh, Gaza,
nothing
okay.
to look for. You're not going to believe this shit. Most Gazans, but these are things they're saying publicly in an interview. They're not talking privately, Larry. You know when you're talking privately, you say crazy shit because no one's listening to you. You say things without really filtering the words. Well, he's saying this publicly.
But he said it in Hebrew. He's not saying it in English, correct?
I don't think so.
They're talking about Ben Gavir.
Doesn't. He says, most Gazans understand they have nothing to look for in Gaza. Anyone who looks from here, as in Sderot, where he was located, understands that in the next 20 years,
I don't even want to watch this guy, honestly.
And that's perfectly fine. It must remain an eternal ruin. It shall not be rebuilt as a reminder of iniquity for anyone.
Look what this guy's posting. So he posted a video on X
to the Jewish people
of this Palestinian couple
and then he
taken
says, now we need to complete the mission.
For interrogation by Israeli police.
Means conquering Gaza, taking responsibility
alleged
for it,
villations during their wedding day. They're probably going to rape the woman.
Never pose a threat to the citizens
and the
of
man.
The state of Israel. So in the same day that you've got Trump saying, Hamas is going to disarm, Israel should attack Gaza. You've got those two cycles just saying they should randomly kill 30 to 40 people a day and the place should remain in ruins.
This is the ghoul.
Meanwhile, CNN puts out a story. Jared Kushner pressed Netanyahu during today's 4-hour meeting to advance Trump's Gaza ceasefire plan and avoid creating obstacles to its implementation. Netanyahu argued that moving forward with the 15-point plan ahead of Israel's October elections would be politically difficult and insisted Hamas must act first. Netanyahu is demanding Hamas fully disarm before Israeli forces withdraw from Gaza, while Hamas says disarmament must occur alongside a phased Israeli withdrawal. And the Israeli political source told Channel 12 that Netanyahu's lengthy meeting with Kushner produced several understandings despite significant differences over Trump's Gaza peace plan. The sides agreed that reconstruction across Gaza would...
Okay, let's take a listen to this bullshit. Ben Gavir said that basically for every one Israeli that dies, I thought he said 30, but now he's saying 40, 50 Palestinians may die or must die. I think target elimination should be targeted. In Gaza every night, take out 30 to 40. Oh, it's not even for one person who's died. This is the reason. This is their destruction. Oh, it's not a secret. I argued with the Prime Minister about it. I think targeted eliminations should be in Gaza every other night, 30 to 40. Not just those who are immediate threat for you. No, there are people who are not human beings. They don't deserve to leave. They are not people. I'm not dealing with it. I favor calling them what it is. I think we need to rehabilitate in the care and the help and embrace of the Israeli people, but also in fighting these enemies. In my imagination, I see all Gaza as ours. Settlements, not just Gush Kafit, but throughout all Gaza. Encourage immigration as much as possible. Send them to other countries or America, right? Kill them one by one. We will enter all of Gaza. We will settle all of Gaza. Every night, 30, 40, 50 tests, as much as possible. So there you have that Zionist monster. Did anyone watch UFC this weekend? It was actually really, really good. But before we get into UFC, I need to watch this MMA and Sugar, the Shuguru show. We'll watch that. Let's dive into Ukraine for a little bit. Let's see what we can find on Ukraine. I was listening to Alex today. I watch Alex Jones every day, so we'll watch a couple clips from Alex, but I don't think today's show is... Ukraine drone attack. I think it was 1,500 drones that were sent. See if we could see some real footage. Hopefully we can suss it out.
Whoa, you know.
Oh. 1,500 of those?
Whoa, you know.
So Ukraine launching a massive drone attack on Russia, about 600 drones.
So they said 600.
Aimed toward Moscow, according to the city's mayor, killing at least 6 people in one of Ukraine's largest aerial attacks of the war to date. That's significant. Hundreds more hitting other parts of Russia. Ukraine has been stepping up attacks with long-range missiles and swarms of drones targeting military industries and energy infrastructure, sometimes deep inside of Russia.
And now to the...
So Ukraine launching a massive drone attack.
That's all we got, a little tiny report. Okay, let's see this. Wow. The problem with this is how much of it's real. This looks real. Just need to find the dates and stuff. Because we don't really know when that's from. Let's look at the top. So that was the one we saw. Russia has launched another major strike on Ukraine. We saw that report. Ukrainian drone strikes on Sunday morning hit the largest wild berries warehouse in Russia. So this is the wild berries attack, which is their equivalent of, they say Amazon, but I don't know if it's that big. As a result of the attack, a massive fire broke out in the territory of the facility. Ukraine's unmanned system forces struck at least 21 objects belonging to Wildberries, largest retail company for Russia. Dang, 600 to 800 rubles, which is like probably like $200,000, you know. So I'm just kidding. Wild berries. Hey, if you're popping in the chat, whether you're on Rumble, Kick, Twitch, YouTube, give it a like, give me a subscribe, drop a comment in the chat, please. Thank you. So big explosions. These wild berries facilities hold a lot of flammable products, as you can imagine. So these warehouses. Let's take a look at this drone. What does this say? Ukraine went to China to buy attack drone. China refused to sell. So a Ukrainian team flew to the factory, took a pilot, training officer, and quietly photographed everything. The production lines, shelves, cabinets. 2 years later, they built their own version, $48,000. $2,000 cheaper than the Chinese original. July 16th, one of these drones flew 800 kilometers into Russia, tore the tail off a Tu-95 bomber at Engels 2. Soviets stopped building that plane decades ago. Russia can't replace it. It's the future. Here's a drone. It's a low battery drone. It's nearing its target. Oh, the guys are running away. That's... Who's it gonna get? They aborted the attack. Oh, okay. Yeah, so Ukraine launched a major drone attack yesterday targeting Moscow as well as other parts of central and southern Russia. Officials are calling today's attacks largest of the year. 800 drone, 600 aimed at Moscow. So they shot them a little bit all over here. So Russia struck a steel plant. So let's see if I can. I wrote down the city of the steel plant. So let's see if we can find footage of the fire at the steel plant. Russia has destroyed. Here it is. You can't really see very well. But it's a big deal. It's Ukraine's largest, it says. Looks like the Ukrainians aren't letting a lot of footage out from the steel plant that was hit. Rightfully so. You know, they're trying to minimize images of the losses coming out, right? So it's a big mess. You know, you got these wars just getting uglier and uglier. A little bit more on Ukraine. I think Zelensky peace talks. So I believe Zelensky says that Ukraine submitted fresh peace proposals to the U.S. Kyiv is pushing for renewed negotiations. Fear Russia could use the upcoming elections as an excuse for escalation. France, Germany, Britain pushing for stronger role from Europe. Kaja Kallas, who's the EU foreign policy chief, says sanctions on Russia should increase. I mean, they've been saying this stuff and they don't do it, you know, so the most important thing is that Russia does not participate. Zelensky outlined conditions of discussing that Russia does not participate. Is that real? Zelensky can't find anyone to take Ukraine's top job in Washington after dismissing envoy Olga. I remember her. High-level candidates, including Yulia Suvidenko, are turning down the post. They're reluctant to deal with Trump. Yeah, no one wants to deal with Trump. It would ruin their career. Yeah, so Zelensky, I mean, he knows he's running out of time. Let's see if we can get any reaction from South Korea. We already saw the video. South Korea reaction. See what this guy says.
Who have seen President Trump's shocking SNS post regarding North Korea. What we are witnessing unfold across the Asia-Pacific region right now is not just another round of erratic political posturing by Trump. It is a destabilizing shockwave that carries all the ingredients of a full-blown national security crisis for this region. President Trump's abrupt, last-minute directive to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to, quote, substantially reduce the Joint Ulchi Freedom Shield military exercises with South Korea, an annual exercise that we have been conducting with them for North Korean attack readiness, delivered literally on the eve of their kickoff, which is today our time here in East Asia, has left regional security analysts stunned and our allies here in Tokyo, as well as next door in Seoul, deeply exposed. Let me take you on an overview of that. The immediate domestic reaction here in Tokyo highlights just how alarming this move is to seasoned observers. I've been reading the online comments here over the last few hours. The hard copy papers do not have anything out, but television stations such as NHK and also online reports are very alarmed. And top Japanese experts are writing this morning, for example, on Yahoo News Japan, that they've been very quick to point out this is a dangerous fallacy based on Washington, D.C.'s logic. For example, veteran journalist and Korea Wave editor-in-chief Shoji Nishioka warned just this morning that President Trump is conflating personal affection with strategic nuclear reality. Let me say that again, conflating personal affection with strategic nuclear reality. As Nishioka observed, Pyongyang strictly separates its personal rapport with Trump from its core nuclear posture. North Korea considers itself a full-fledged nuclear state now, and it's maneuvering accordingly alongside Moscow and Beijing, completely unaffected by Trump's friendly and I might say rather subjective and overinflated rhetoric that all of us are tired of. Meanwhile, Kosuke Takahashi, he is the Tokyo correspondent for The Diplomat. Now, he has raised immediate red flags over how this unilateral decision is gutting the Ulchi Freedom Shield drills themselves. This directly degrades the U.S. and ROK operational readiness. We saw that.
It may be too early to make this call, but it seems like, at least in terms of their image and their just their posture, that Russia, North Korea, Iran have all gotten substantially stronger through the Trump administration's second Trump administration. So, and our allies have all gotten weaker, as well as the U.S. So what does that tell you?
The same thing in 2018, right after the Singapore summit, where Trump did the same thing, and all of the analysis show that it created a great disturbance in the readiness and the operational capabilities of both countries to respond to a North Korean threat. Now, Takahashi emphasized that this is a direct threat to Tokyo as well, forcing Japan now to question the underlying credibility of the entire American extended nuclear umbrella. The rationale coming out of Washington is as paper-thin as it is troubling. The American president, once again, he claims these are vital defensive drills that are simply too costly and send an inappropriate and hostile
South Korean ones were
Pyongyang.
canceled.
I remember in 2018, he termed them a provocation, which was precisely the language that North Korea has used towards us and our allies for decades on end, taking their position. Trump is publicly framing crucial alliance readiness around his personal rapport with Kim Jong-un, and I've been writing on this extensively, trading away hard-won military deterrence for the mere illusion of goodwill, which again is subjective.
Yeah, they're all playing them.
He loves those photographs. He had them framed. He loves those love letters. He took them out from the National Archives and was indicted as a result of that. So make no mistake, there appears to have been zero attempt to work through traditional diplomatic channels here today, no interagency vetting, and absolutely no serious consultation with the regional partners here in Japan or next door in Seoul, South Korea, who actually have to live in the shadow of North Korea's growing arsenal. This sudden Trump pivot places Japan in an extraordinarily dangerous bind. For decades, Tokyo's entire defense architecture has rested on one non-negotiable pillar, and that is the absolute rock-solid reliability of U.S. forward
I don't know,
deployment.
this was at his Mar-a-Lago
This throws
office.
a monkey wrench in the whole business. So watching Washington unilaterally dismantle these operational ready...
Trump drill cut sends China warning to South Korea. Former CIA officer Scott Uliger says Trump's decision to scale back U.S. South Korea military drills could serve as a strategic warning over Seoul's China policy.
The present president of Korea is entirely too friendly with communist China. And this is a time when countries such as Japan, the Philippines, Australia, and Taiwan are increasingly concerned. And I also think that these allies were increasingly concerned over South Korea's policy change regarding
So it's kind of a
China.
slap.
So I think this is...
So this guy, and what it seems like the indication is that South Korea is getting a little too comfy with China, and Trump is slapping them around a little bit to wake them up, telling them, hey, pick your side, stop acting fucking stupid. So that's one way to view it. It's probably the positive way to view it, right?
Trump's subtle way of using his friendship with North Korea is really beside the point. But he's basically sending a warning to the government of South Korea that they should stop their policies of being overly friendly with China, because it's alarming other U.S. allies in the region. And it will basically cause perhaps the South Koreans to question some of the things they've been doing in the past year. So this has been developing for
slammed upcoming joint military, and the Democratic People's Republic of Korea has strongly slammed upcoming joint military drills by the U.S. and South Korea, warning that it could respond with stronger deterrent measures.
This is a few days ago before Trump's tweet.
Said in a statement that Pyongyang's consistent principle.
You can see these drills are not small by any chance.
Responding to a new level of a threat with a new level of a deterrent. The statement added that the U.S. South Korean military drills are more provocative than last year's. Pyongyang warned that the U.S. is pursuing a new nuclear strategy that lowers the threshold for using such weapons and could
if you're joining the stream, give us a like, a subscribe.
The statement stressed that Pyongyang will not tolerate
try to do this at least 3 times a week.
Confrontational situation created by the enemy states, but will cope with
and some funner streams. This is just
the
news.
Responsible and decisive exercise of the legitimate
it is
right
important.
to self-defense. The statement came ahead.
These guys are so funny.
Very nice, actually. But I called him. I said, would you like to give us a little hand? We don't need help with Iran, but if you'd like, give us a hand with Iran. He said, no, thanks. And I said, wait a minute. We have 39,000 soldiers over there guarding you from Kim Jong-un, your next-door neighbor, and you're not going to help us on a very easy military
Yeah, South Korea is going to change their mind.
That's strange. No, we'd rather not get involved. I say, well, why are we involved in helping you? So, and I want to help them, but, you know, when you ask somebody, would you like to give us a hand, and they say, no thanks, and then we're guarding them from a country and paying ourselves billions of dollars, it's costing us billions and billions of dollars to protect not only them, but other countries. Look at NATO. We spend hundreds of billions of dollars. Very nice, actually. But I called him. I said, would you like to give us a little hand? We don't need help with...
been much official reaction.
South Korea says joint exercises are continuing.
South Korea said the exercises are going to continue as scheduled. You know, we journalists got basically just one short message from the Joint Chiefs of Staff here saying that the exercises started as normal, but you know, no further discussion as to, you know, no further comments on or just a reaction to Trump's announcement. And you know, it's actually a public holiday here, so the president's office, the Defense Ministry have not responded yet to requests, but I imagine they will, you know, at some point today have something to say. But clearly, it's taken, you know, everyone I've talked to by a great deal of surprise. I mean, certainly reactions maybe from the U.S. have been critical of it, from what I've seen. I mean, certainly Democratic opponents or you know, opposition party figures have taken to social media to criticize it. Senator Mark Kelly, who's a former Navy pilot, said that it was short-sighted, you know, warned that it would weaken the military readiness of the alliance, and, you know, defense.
People are not happy about it. We'll see how South Korea reacts. Japan's got some stuff to look at with Russia and those islands. See how much support we give them. See what Rex Jones, this is Alex's son, Alex Jones' son. See what he's talking about today. What are these guys talking
describe
about
it from let me ask you, Tim Pool, did you in fact rage quit? Is that how you would describe it from the Flipper kid?
No, I mean,
this is with Jubilee, when he was on Jubilee and he got up and left.
I'm stuttering. I have nothing to say, and I have to storm off. But, it's funny if you watch it. I think I asked him, can I ask you a question, like 6 times?
Imagine wearing a beanie every single day.
He just won't stop. So here's the other thing. I had expressed to at least some of the people there, if anybody wants to do a stunt like they did with Ben Shapiro, I'm going to get up and walk off. Like, forewarning. This is not me, the show's over. It was basically, like, my mentality is, when that trans man just berated Ben and Ben just sat there, you create a clip that goes viral on the left, and what does Ben get for being there? And so I said, I'll get up and leave so that the clip's going to go both ways, right?
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and just tolerate a guy screaming in my face. He's going to get his viral clip no matter what he does.
So speaking of lawfare and being targeted, I want to talk about the Alex Jones defamation case, because I believe to this day, isn't it like the largest?
Alex got a $1 billion judgment against him from the Sandy Hook families.
Did you have to testify in that?
I did have to testify. They didn't like me. They got me off of that stand as quickly as possible. I think I embarrassed their lawyer a little bit a couple times.
This is Owen talking about he used to work. He used to host War Room. He used to host War Room before Harrison.
Whenever when there's like a high profile lawsuit, somebody sues you or whatever, it's like chum in the water, and all of a sudden everybody thinks they can sue you.
Mm-hmm.
And so when this was happening, a bunch of frivolous lawsuits started coming my way. Most of them judges just ended up tossing. They were so bad that judges were just like, I'm not even reading this. This is ridiculous. And then it kind of catches on, and the judges are like, oh, you're just like bait for this stuff. They don't even read them anymore. But what the motivation factor at that time when I was testifying in that case was, all of these lawyers thought I had a bunch of money. They thought that I had millions of dollars like Alex. And so it was like, hey, let's get into his pocketbook too. Let's get all their money. And so what happened at that time is, after we went through financial discovery and
he got thrown in.
I don't have millions of dollars.
He got thrown in jail for January 6th. He was there.
When I realized I don't have a bunch of money. So it's strange how this.
He used to look normal. Now he looks.
With every experience, you realize it's so corrupt.
Like a flamer.
It's so corrupt. Like at every level, it's so corrupt. You wonder if you can even get a fair trial in this country.
The plaintiffs in that case were the parents, right?
There were parents. I think there might have been an FBI agent as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, but you have to understand too, I wasn't at InfoWars when any of this happened. I wasn't working at InfoWars. I was like, I got brought in 2016 after all of this, and the only reason they brought me in is because I read a Washington Post story on air. So I was quoting a Washington Post story, and that was their hook to bring me in. Even though I wasn't there, I never did anything defamatory. Yeah. But it was like, once they figured out there's no money, they said, yeah, there's no case here. But I was still going to be a witness that they were going to try to grill.
Well, you said, it's so corrupt, and you see how it's so corrupt. And I guess I was wondering, like, was it your feeling or your perception that if, in fact, the parents were plaintiffs, which I think you said they were they really motivating the case, or were they being used? Was there something else behind it?
That's tough. It is tough. I don't want to talk about that case, but what I will say is, I believe that there are lawyers.
So Rex obviously supports his dad. So let's hear directly from the GOAT, Alex Jones, the OG GOAT, not the new little GOAT. Fuentes is like a junior GOAT, maybe a little. Not a sheep, but what's less than a goat?
The reason I'm pissed off at Tim Pool and everybody like him is very simple.
Okay, let's watch the first one. Why did Tim Pool secretly meet with Bibi and has received money from Israel? And has he received money? Secondarily, my audience has never been bigger, and X fixed the bug that was affecting all live streamers. What the hell did Tim Pool say about Alex? So Alex said that his live shows are 90% reduction. They're changing in the algorithm. Tim Pool says, my honest opinion is that you can't go pro-Trump for 10 years and then be critical and be surprised part of your audience drops off. Wow. Fuck Tim Pool, man. Let's see what he says.
I'm just focusing out Tim Pool. I'm just focusing on him because he's the latest prominent person.
How dare he go after the fucking GOAT, Alex fucking Jones.
To kind of join on this bandwagon of, oh, look, Alex Jones has no viewers. Alex Jones isn't pertinent. Alex Jones is basically a has-been, all because they changed the algorithm Friday on X, and a whole bunch of live streamers from sports, entertainment to us noticed a 90+% reduction over the weekend. And I said, looks like there's a bug here. And by today, they fixed it. The numbers were back to what they were. And of course, our engagement, our followers, our videos have as much views as they've ever had. But I noticed immediate talking points last night when I posted that, when I looked at it this morning, by a whole bunch of influencers like the Quartering and now Tim Pool today, but thousands of them. I mean, it was just thousands all over the place trending, as you can see, saying it's because you're against the war, it's because you turn against Trump, it's because you're getting money from the Pakistanis and the Qataris and all this. When I posted a video last night about this, I said I talked to my social media people and they said, no, it's people across the board, non-political. It's probably not censorship. It's just some type of bug that needs to be fixed. So I said it's probably a bug. As of this morning, they fixed it, and I said it was a bug. Great job, Elon Musk team, fixing this. And then people like Tim Pool come in and say, oh, well, if you support Trump for 10 years, then you turn against him, what do you expect? It's overnight 90%. It's not like I had gradual decline. It's like boom, like this. And then it was corrected in 24 hours or less than 24 hours after I talked about it, but it was already there for a day. So my issue is I don't sit there and wait for Tim Pool to have a problem. I don't sit there and wait for him to have something happen and then seize upon it. And in fact, because I think of him as a friend and like him, I probably self-censored some with some of the things I've seen him do. And if you look at numbers, it's Tim Pool.
Fuck that, Alex. Go off on this fool.
Other people have numbers that are low.
Don't hold back.
After it was discovered that he secretly met with Benjamin Netanyahu under Chatham House rules, and then later admitted it, they've spent $1.3 billion. They started right around the time he had that secret meeting, buying off influencers in the United States. So I want to ask Tim Pool, did you take any money from Israel or its subsidiaries or any of its front groups or organizations? Because I've never taken money from Israel, Qatar, the UAE, the Iranians, the U.S. government, other than the Air Force. Did buy $20,000 on my YouTube ads where I got banned like 8 years ago. I didn't even ask for it. They just bought the ads, Air Force, as a recruiting ad. So actually the Air Force, the Pentagon did spend $20,000 with me once that I remember. I think there were some Marine Corps ads too, but they weren't that big. So here's the deal. I'm fun about people at thealexjonesstore.com. I'm fun about people buying the methylene blue, the t-shirts, stuff like that. I've always said what I believe. It comes from me. It doesn't come from foreign interest. And people like the Quartering said, oh, well, that's just because your Pakistani bots aren't there. My Pakistani bots, I'm hugely critical of Pakistan. Everybody knows that. And as for Qatar, I didn't take a $200 million airplane from them like Trump did. So that's the reality of this. So I tell you what, from now on.
The only thing from Pakistan that Alex Jones supports is probably Hanes underwear. That's probably the only thing he supports from Pakistan.
On Tim, whenever I see you do something creepy or something weird, I'm going to talk about it because, quite frankly, that is just about Tim Pool. I think he's a sociopath. He even brags about the fact that, for him, well, you know what it's all about. So, Tim Pool, I know you've never been my friend. I know you sit there and hope I fall. You hope I'm not successful.
Fuck Tim
I've been
Pool.
around 32 years before social media. I literally launched the modern
How dare he go after the GOAT? Especially after he got stormed off by some 19-year-old motherfuckers.
The lady that's been indicted secretly targeted me with the law firms trying to shut me down. You never had that happen, buddy, because you're not important enough for that to happen. And my hardcore
He's going to wear his stupid little beanie.
So, despite all the censorship and all the attacks and everything else that's happened, we're still on the air reaching tens of millions of people a day.
Get methylene blue, folks.
That's what it's all about.
Methylene
My
blue,
show was the
filter.
biggest English-speaking program in the world, 2016, 17,
Hell
18,
yeah.
until they tried to destroy me. I'm still in the top 10, and that's not giving up any of my values. Trump went against his values. Trump broke his promises. I still think he's better than Democrats, but I've said if he wants to nuke Iran or destroy their culture in one day and all this other stuff, he should be impeached if he tries to do that. So that's where I stand. So after it was already known this was a glitch, after it was already known it was a bug, he chimed in to try to imply that I don't have viewers or any of the rest of this as just a
What an
cheap
asshole.
shot,
Just
because
kick
he
him
thinks
while
if
he's
he can cut
down.
everybody else's head off, he'll rise. Tim, you met with the Israeli war criminal in secret, and we want to know if you took money or if you took money from him.
BB Miliakowski from Poland.
Let's have a debate about that, okay? You can see my bank account. I can see yours. And so sit there and try to celebrate this stuff. Rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated, and our numbers are right back to where they were because the glitch was fixed. And I said in the report,
let's go,
entertainment media as well, and non-political stuff. And so you guys all just rushed out, cat turd, the rest of you, and said, our numbers are up, you're the one, you're not at the cool table.
Fucking cat turd.
The war is wildly unpopular, but I didn't.
Tim Pool needs to come clean about his secret meetings.
Look, the reason I'm pissed off at Tim Pool and everybody like him is very simple. Israel spent $1.3 billion officially out of their Knesset to pay for U.S. influencers to attack anybody that's against the Iran war. And it's been clear these guys all follow talking points and are in lockstep, and they all deny they're taking money from Israel.
Crazy.
But on record, Israel spent $1.3 billion in the last 18 months. If you go back about 14 months ago, Tim Pool got caught meeting secretly with a bunch of influencers with Netanyahu, reportedly getting marching orders.
Tim Pool's such a
he said, yeah, I met with him and I'm proud of it, but I won't tell you what we talked about. Chatham House rules. So
no balls.
I posted a video about that where he's celebrating because there was a glitch on X. They admit was a glitch that affected all live streams. I thought it was a glitch. I said it's open on censorship and knocked our viewers down in one day, 90%. They're back up. He said, well, that's because, you're anti-Trump. Nobody likes you. And they had all these other influencers, clearly a talking point, saying the same thing. It's clear that a bunch of them have gone public. They get sent the messages every day, what to say, what to do. They put it out. Can I prove it 100% with Tim Pool? But no, I can prove it 100% that as a group, they're doing it. 1.3 billion is a lot of money. So this isn't about, I got a big audience. How dare you say my audience is gone? I'm like Elon Musk. There's a big glitch. All the live shows, entertainment shows, you name it, 90% knocked down since your new algorithm. And they admitted, we got problems, and they fixed it by this morning. So that was it. They wouldn't even show the live feed of the show or anybody else's when you did a live show. They wouldn't even show it. And I was just telling everybody, we need to get this fixed. And then he seizes on it and says, you criticized Trump.
Tim Pool's so fucking mean. Honestly, I hate to laugh, but look at Alex's face. Tim Pool obviously hurt Alex's feelings by saying, like, that fucked up shit. Basically saying, like, no one listens to you. Like me. Like, no one listens to me, but I just started doing this, right? For fun. But, Alex's been doing it for 32 years. He's been in front of the White House. He snuck into Bohemian Grove. He was at January 6th. Like, this guy's done everything. He had Trump's back, and then Trump basically made fun of him, called him broke as a fucking dog or whatever he called him. Basically laughed at the fact that he's not going to have money to pass down, millions to pass down to his kids. He has a big family, 3 or 4 kids that he's got. Totally corrupted or bankrupted this man. Still has $1 billion judgment against them. How is that reasonable to anybody? So Tim Pool really struck a nerve. Alex looks sad, and I feel bad, but Tim Pool's just a fucking nothing. He's just a piece of shit. So compared to Alex Jones, Tim Pool's could be gone tomorrow and no one would miss him. If Alex Jones wasn't around, people would miss him.
Your audience is gone, along with tens of thousands of others, so it trended to the top of X. They didn't all just magically come up with that instantly when I posted the video last night. So maybe Tim's just dumb and copied what the Israeli bots were putting out, but he does meet with the guy that gives the orders in their eighth part of the 8-front war. So that's why I'm irritated. That's why I'm sick and tired of this garbage. And I've just been too nice to these little swarmy, people that sit there and act like they're patriots, but they're not. If you support Israel controlling our government, if you support Israel taking over our military with the NDAA, if you support all this garbage, you're not an American. You're a traitor and it's treason.
What's up, Puerto Rican Ashley?
That's where I stand. So even if he's not taking the money, he's sure following the marching orders. And I am personally, absolutely, and completely sick of it all. And, that's just where I stand. And that fan's coming over here. And that's where all this is going. So
fucked up.
I love these greenhorns sitting there, telling me that I don't have an audience. I'm not mad that they do that about me. I'm mad that they want to manipulate people, and they got that clear as operation stuff came out with Tim Pool. Tim Pool meets secretly with the head of a foreign government that's working to have him run a coup again.
Yeah, Tim Pool meets with fucking Benjamin Netanyahu. Meanwhile, Alex Jones gets sued by the American government for $1 billion. Okay, fuck Tim Pool. So, what is this though? So I thought this was going to be, I guess Alex is going to be at some Dallas, Texas, right not right wing, but conservative. So you got Fishback, you got Harrison, you got what's this guy's name? I forget it. He's funny though. His videos are funny. Alex is the main guy. This guy, whatever, dude. Oh, here are the names. JP Sears. That's JP Sears, Harrison, Fishback. Got some heavy hitters, so we'll watch that. I know there's an Alex Jones debate. It was anti-war, anti-Trump versus versus Zionist, non-Zionist versus Zionist, I believe. And that was I'll find the other guy's name, but that's supposed to come out this week. He filmed it like a week ago, and the guy was gonna release it like 10 days later. So that'll be something to watch. What is Alex doing with his fucking gun?
I'm gonna stop drooling. A little bit of, I don't know. It's like looking at a fine woman right now. I just want to start licking her. Sorry. Anyways, I just love accuracy. There's nothing better. That's pretty good advertising for you guys. Alex Jones. Yeah. Oh my baby.
Fucking weirdo. I was listening to this at the gym today, so I didn't see the
let's
visual.
Stop. I don't know. Do I want the hot Polish blonde or this? I don't know. Shouldn't have brought this in. It's a little bit distracting when Marilyn Monroe's sitting right here. God,
Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, God, look at the curves on this.
Oh, bootylicious.
Real time, uncensored, unstoppable. Stand.
It's a year now. This is the or flapper targets and never miss. And there's footage of this. So, guys, ask Rob Dew to check the archives. I never go out and try to do a bunch of fancy shooting. And, of course, I did go out shooting with military and cops, and I did outshoot them. You know, this is 17 rounds. They usually hit it at 100 yards, maybe 10 times. I can hit over and over again. All 17
Pretty
times
good.
of this.
17
now,
rounds.
The normal 9mm handgun at 100 yards,
times.
I'd probably hit half the time. This thing is a damn laser beam with
Can't
a
wait
red
to get
dot
my
on
guns
it.
back.
And my only point about that is, imagine invasions here, like you see there. Never going to happen because of the 2A. And unfortunately, most shooters are not as good as I am. I grew up literally 4 years old with 410 shotguns, shooting coffee cans to teach me how powerful guns were. And a misused one, I got beaten. It's just true. You get beaten a lot when it came to things like guns or things.
All right, I see the kick chat a little bit. Let's go check out, see if Clav's streaming. Let's see who's streaming. We got Dean, AB. Oh no, Clav's off. Might take up too much bandwidth here. Let's just look at some clips on YouTube, or sorry, on my feed here. Maybe we catch up on some UFC. What does it say? Believe it or not, you can.
Right now, we're not going to go back into bombs. We're going to let you try and dismantle this thing in a different way. Is that how you feel this war could end?
Iran's banking system.
So, Rob, a year ago, last March of 25, President gave me the order to apply maximum pressure to the Iranian regime, and Treasury did, and we've been going after, as you said, their bank accounts, crypto wallets, assets around the world, cutting off payments into both the leadership in the regime and the government itself. As a result, in December of last year, December of 2025, one of the largest banks, or the largest bank in Iran, collapsed. The central bank had to print money, created huge inflation. Then in March this year, or February, we started the...
All right, I can only listen to Scott Bassett for so long. Hey, you guys, if you're joining me, drop a like, subscribe, follow me on X. It's the easiest way to reach me. Appreciate you. Thank you. What did Tiffany say? Oh, wait. So why are women donating to... Oh, this is Lindsay Clancy. That's the woman that murdered her children, I believe, the 3 children. How is that defensible? What am I missing? Jeez, the comments. No thanks. I'm a woman. Oh, man. I'm sure Myron's going to talk about this. Myron Gaines. It's ridiculous. Crazy. $800,000 she has in her GoFundMe for her defense. No way a man would get $800,000 after pleading guilty to killing his family, you know? So Abu Bakr's comment is killing me. So Islam, who just won on Saturday, said, I don't know, bro. It's even too heavy to hold, but you don't understand. Sorry, eh? And then Abu Bakr Nurmagomedov said, brother, can I have your Steam ID? That's just funny. On fucking Instagram. Islam fires back at Max Holloway, who isn't happy with Islam holding 2 belts after the UFC win. I don't know, bro. It's not even too heavy to hold. You don't understand. Sorry. Oh, so that's what that was for. And then he said, brother, can I have your Steam ID? I need to play some games. Me ignoring every red flag because I'm having... This is every time I meet a hot Filipina girl. I'm like, hello, you got all the red flags, all the butterfly tattoos, all that shit. But here you go. I'm gonna eat that. Oh, what? This can't be real. Dog ate a pack of dried Orbeez, and this is what happened? What the hell are Orbeez, first of all? Is it some sort of toy? Oh, they're BBs? Holy, this poor dog. That's so sad. This is Vaughn. He's the light bantamweight champion, I think.
So Josh, before we even start this interview, I really need to ask you an important question. I have learned something from our producers that kind of shook me to my core. We call you Josh Van.
Yes.
Your name file for the UFC, it's you saying Josh Van.
Yeah.
Joshua Van.
Vaughn.
But it's Vaughn.
Yes.
Vaughn, so Joshua we Vaughn. Should all be saying Joshua Vaughn is the champion of the UFC.
Yes. Well, I don't mind Van. You know, I like it, but...
The family of 9/11 hijacker Zayed Jarrah just been confirmed. Is this real?
How about now? That's the man.
And the passports. Alex talks about the passports too. Let's hear what this guy says.
You know who this guy is? Wait, how about now? That's the man whose passport was found on the wreckage of 9/11.
Passport.
Want to know something hilarious? His uncles were found to be Mossad agents in Lebanon.
Everything was destroyed, everything on the plane, but somehow they found this guy's half a passport. Yeah, it's bullshit.
They even say it in the article. Have a nice day.
Square deal, which is kind of what we're approaching, which he broke up all the guys that were making all the money, the 1% basically.
Yeah.
They called it the Square deal. Was that Teddy?
Yeah, so I've been listening to the Joe Rogan podcast somewhat. Joe's been so slow to criticize remotely anything that Trump does, especially prior to UFC 250. Because he was going to be calling it. It was going to be at the White House. So I think he was kind of walking on eggshells. Maybe like a week or two beforehand, he started saying some things that were critical of Trump and the Trump administration. More recently, now that it's become even more obvious, he's starting to allow more things to be said on his show that are anti-Trump, that are not even anti-Trump. It's just the truth. It's just kind of what you see with your eyes, right? With your brain that we have to think. And then this past, I think it was Thursday or Friday episode, he had his 3 comedian friends on, and then Gillis was there, and Gillis was probably the most critical of, you know, the shit that Trump has done. So, you're seeing a lot of people post stuff online about it. Rightfully so. So we'll kind of see how much further, you know, Trump is able to push that, you know, so, or sorry, we'll see how much further Joe is able to, how much he continues to push the envelope against Trump, so.
I don't care if they call me racist. In fact, I couldn't care less what people who hate our country think of me. For decades, the left is nothing more than your physical location.
No one believes that guy. Harmon. I'm gonna change it to Batman, his nickname.
Quiet, quiet. You're very disrespectful in front of this young man. Okay? Don't you find her disrespectful? He understands. Quiet. Who are you with?
I'm with CNN.
Fake news. You're
Fake news.
You're a loud, boisterous person. You're fake news. Be quiet. Be
Who's
quiet.
that kid? Is that JD's kid?
Quiet.
JD's son?
You're a fake reporter.
He looks Indian.
And you report fake news. Go ahead.
Mr. President is...
Go ahead. Looks like JD Vance's son. Oh, I don't want to play that right now. This woman, everything that's wrong with America. Look at all those beans she was eating. And then now all of a sudden she has a podcast and she has sleeves. No thanks, dude.
Elon Musk is the free speech trailblazer, not just in America, but worldwide. So with the huge censorship we've seen in the last 48 hours, I don't believe he's behind it. That's why I'm firing the bat signal right now at Elon Musk to find out what the hell's going on X and to correct this problem. We're counting on you, Elon. But that's not what this is. It is taking us from hundreds of thousands or millions of live viewers to a couple thousand. Most people that are flooding us with private messages and emails say they can't even click on it and see the feed.
She doesn't want to hold his hand. He's like, what? Are you mad at me for what? I just grabbed her by the... Come on. No. Don't simp, Trump. Not for some fucking not even non-English speaking foreign broad. Come on, motherfucker. All the shit you talk.
Feels very strongly that the UK should not invest in.
Qua cái cửa khẩu này, có đi tới ya está. ¿Cómo lo viste? Se llama el término se llama lengua bífida, como una serpiente.
They need to kick all blacks out of fucking Japan. The hell? How do they allow that shit? Fucking disgusting. Brett Weinstein tweeted, atheism has failed disastrously, analytically correct or not. Yes, and then Michael Yon, who's probably the most famous combat photographer in American history. Atheism is a godless cult. I say this with as much objectivity as I can distill from muddy waters. Sean O'Malley recreates Ian Gary showing too much respect in between rounds. Oh, this is going to be amazing. That's pretty spot on. Oh, I need to watch this shit.
Letting us with private messages and emails say they can't even even click on it
So
and see
we're
the
listening
feed.
to Alex talk about
And they can't
why
share
his-
it. So whatever's going on is
His viewership is down.
devastating for organic reach from organic humans that are actually putting.
Oh, what is this? Oh yeah.
Out original content. Up here Sunday night doing a live show. Normally there'd be hundreds of thousands watching by now. It's a couple thousand at Real Alex Jones and on the backup channel at AJN Live for the Alex Jones Network. And again, I'm not blaming Elon. He's been a trailblazer, came in, bought Twitter, turned it around, made it the biggest media operation in the world because he turned loose the power of we the people. He's been a champion. So whether this is a bug that has to be fixed, or maybe they changed the algorithm and insiders that are still moles are censoring, this is a big problem. But I have noticed, just doing a quick cursory examination.
Dude, for a boxer who's knocks people out, gets paid to fight, to go out there and be humbled by someone who probably wasn't very super skilled. I don't know who he went with. They could have been really skilled. Could have been Schmitty, could have been Guru, high level shit. To go out there and then and be honest and be like, damn, that was, if you've never grappled, if you've never done that, then
I need a Shiguru show beanie. Mustache looking good for the Guru. I used to rock that for a bit too. Just takes a little time to grow it out.
For the winner by split decision, Yazinya Biggie Boy Rosenstein. For the winner by split decision, Yazinya.
Howie Booth got fired? Oh, I mean, there's only 2 comments. Probably shouldn't. What did Armin say? Armin's not convinced anyone can beat Islam at welterweight. Suggests Prime Kamaru Usman would be his only challenge. Morales could maybe be a problem, but still, right now, who can beat Islam?
Islam, he didn't look good that he before.
Why do you think that is?
I think he missed that high kick, or he hurt his nose. Something happened. And Urian Gary was defending very well against the cage. He didn't let him to be on the top, you know. He always stand up, and like it's always like hard to carry, you know, the fighter who knows how to defend so good. That's why he got tired.
Do you think Islam's going to have problems with some of these bigger welterweights, Morales, Praches, Shavkat? Do you think the welterweight, landscape is just too big for him?
Morales, maybe, yes. But still, like, I don't know right now who can beat Islam. Yeah, only maybe Prime Usman. But he's gone. He's in 84 kg.
Right.
So, yeah, he thinks maybe only Kamaru Usman can do it. Armin's fighting soon. Oh, 8 minutes ago. What'd you say now, Alex?
I'm going to shoot one more report on Tim Pool and his secret meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu that he admitted he had. He said he's going to keep secret. And it's just this: we cannot tolerate Americans meeting secretly with a foreign government that's openly trying to manipulate our foreign policy and primarying members of Congress and trying to take over our military secrets in the new National Defense Authorization Act. And all I know is Tim Pool follows the exact Israeli talking points. So even if he's not taking money, he is following their talking points. And I want to just say this: despite the billions they've spent trying to propagandize and buy off influencers, there's still enough loyal Americans left, right, and center to see through this and don't buy into it. So you can't buy us all. And that's really my message: is all your money and all your propaganda hasn't worked.
He really pissed Alex off, made him sad.
War is insanely unpopular.
It's true.
America is
Tim
totally
Pool's taking
against
money
it.
from Israel.
By only 3 votes failed having Congress institute the War
cool,
Powers
bro.
Act and stop this war. We need the last 3 senators that didn't vote for it to vote for it. We need to take our country back.
Piece of shit move.
It's that Simple. When I see Tim Pool putting on Israeli talking points against me, it's just absolutely disgusting. And it's shameful what he has become. And so I even saw some of the people in the videos I posted earlier saying, where's your proof he met with Benjamin Netanyahu? You want me to put a link to it here? You want me to show you? No. You know he did. It was a big scandal. So I'm not going to show you proof the sky will be blue tomorrow at noon. Well, then I'm wearing a camo hat, or I'm wearing a red shirt, or a maroon shirt. I'm just not doing it. You want to believe he didn't meet with Netanyahu? You want to say that isn't true? You think people on X are stupid and Rumble and other places that see this. I'm not going to show you the proof met with the Israelis. It'll make it more fun, like an Easter egg hunt for everybody. Everyone look at a Tim Pool met secretly with Benjamin Netanyahu. When he got caught, declared Chatham House rules. That means, well, I agreed it would be secret. Of course he did. Or sue me, Tim, if it's not true. Have your bots come out, have Netanyahu's little body bots come out and say I'm a liar. That makes it better. Because tomorrow on my show, I'm going to show it all. And I'm going to show Netanyahu launching the Eighth Front, the Eighth Front War.
Oh, tomorrow's show, it's going to be good. It's going to go after Tim Pool.
Expose it all. And we're going to show how at the exact same time last night when I posted the video about the new algorithm censoring all live streams, within minutes, hundreds of people saying the exact same thing.
Alex.
We'll
be there.
Are they all on the payroll?
We'll check it out.
Maybe not. Probably not, but some are. You can't hide from the truth.
Kill 30 to 40 people every night. I am a fat piece of shit. This guy needs to get eaten by ants. Or maybe just a big magnifying glass. Groiperification. Nick's gonna be back on today.
I need a message for Islam Makachev.
I will knock you out, bro. Knock you out, bro.
Knock you out?
I will bring that belt to Brazil. The first welterweight champ from Brazil.
It's a message. Direct to Islam.
We serve nothing but the best here aboard the USS Jeffrey Epstein. Whether it's mystery meat slab, gray burger, no bun, or 10-carat rounds, you're sure to get 1.5 square meals a day. Oh God, where's the bathroom? Ahoy, mateys! Need to relieve yourselves from your duties? Well, you've got to head somewhere else. Because this one's closed. Soup's on, boys!
George Galloway, kind of a, not a communist, but very left-wing. I listen to his show Sundays and Wednesdays. It's a good, oh, look, one of my gems. Repeal the 19th. Ban women from social media. It's the only way to begin to de-whore them by a small percentage. One of my great tweets of all time. Still getting likes days later. What? Pat McAfee? Marvin Harrison Jr.? What?
Harrison Jr.
We heard a guy couldn't catch. We were hoping maybe he would get traded to the Colts. Go ahead, D-Ball.
Yeah, we're talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. I feel like the narrative on him coming out, and it's maybe just
what's up with Marvin?
Lights,
he
like
couldn't
he's dropping
catch.
Balls. He's not creating
last 2 years.
separation. What has been kind of his story through training camp in the preseason for Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I mean, he had a couple of bad practices. He had a couple of bad drops, and you know how it is. Like, someone gets a video, puts it out there, all of a sudden he's dropping every ball thrown to him. We have seen growth from Marv this camp, right? He has been better in kind of those one-on-one jump ball situations. He's been better against physical corners. That was kind of an issue of his the first 2 seasons. But he's making catches, right? He had, after those videos came out, he really stepped up. He made some really nice catches in camp. Obviously, he had that great catch that you're showing in the preseason game from Jacoby. But, I mean, Yeah, the problem is he had some bad plays with Kyler Murray as his quarterback the last 2 years. So that's in everyone's mind. So when he makes these drops, all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, this is going to be an issue long term." Like to me, based on natural ability, he's got to be one of the top 5 receivers in this league. He's just so naturally talented that I don't think that this is going to be a long term issue.
All right, Josh.
I like it. I like that.
I like it.
I like that.
I like Marv too. Top 5.
Got a good league right now. Got a good league.
Sorry,
right now.
sorry,
On his bill.
sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, but God-given ability. I mean, look at his pedigree, right? His dad's a Hall of Famer. Like, he has the tools. It's just putting them all together.
Yeah, I mean, that's a real question right there.
Yeah, boy, got deep.
Yeah, somebody in the back just said, is he top 5 in Ohio State in the NFL right now?
No, man. He's. I mean, he'll bounce back, but he's kind of been underwhelming. But there's so many great receivers now. Bill Gates, fuck Bill Gates. Fucking sending mosquitoes to go eat you, get you sick, kill you, give you COVID shots.
That's I mean.
So Din Thomas quit on Mackenzie Dern's opponent. I forget her name. It's like Cheryl Robinson or something. But he basically said that he was retiring from cornering people after the fight, basically in frustration that she wouldn't fight back. So let's hear what Mackenzie Dern says. She ended up beating that woman.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's tough. You know what I mean? That's tough to say. I think that's, I don't know. I don't even know why that has to be something public. I mean, I feel like that could be something just resolved between the two of them. I don't think that's something that needs to be not even announced. I feel like you can just tell your athlete, you know, whatever he wants to say. And if anyone asks in the public or whatever in the future, her, why she isn't working with him or why he's on a corner, they can just have
it
their
did
own,
not need to be
for personal reasons or whatever.
like
you know,
an
I feel like
announcement,
there's
dude.
some things
No one
that
cares.
don't need to be shared to the public. And so the fact that, you know, that was something that was set out there, I feel like was just not
unnecessary.
Not etiquette. I guess etiquette is that like not just not.
Yeah,
it wasn't. I don't
putting
think
her
that was
on blast for no
necessary,
reason.
You know, so
Poor taste.
the reason for that. I mean, he did come back and say sorry. So, but it doesn't
He did
seem like
apologize publicly. So he did something publicly
really
where
what-
he retired publicly, kind of called her out. However, he did publicly apologize. So I think it's squashed. What Kristen Holmes? Okay, CNN issued a statement condemning President Trump after he shut down their reporter Kristen Holmes. Oh, so that was Kristen Holmes that he told her to shut up. Okay, well, they stand behind Kristen Holmes. Fishback 1%. Fishback lost. Killed a 6-year-old, dude. Yeah, you better punch his ass. That was a slap. It wasn't even a punch.
That's the one you could have touched dick, right?
Zelensky said, a briefing on the situation at the front. Many details about the sectors in the Donetsk region, the situation in Kostavinskaya, the Sloviansk, and the Provyosk sectors. We have updated information on the Russian army's objectives in the respective areas and are preparing our countermeasures. I thank all of our units truly defending their positions and deftly using the necessary types of drones. Minister of Defense briefed me on protecting our cities, communities, and frontline logistics from drones. More resources need to be channeled to these efforts. Where are they going to get resources from? America doesn't have them to send over to you guys. Together with the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, we identified what additional organizational steps can strengthen our defense across most intense sectors. I instructed that personal decisions proposed by the Commander-in-Chief should be prepared. We separately discussed the progress of long-range operations during first half of August. We reaffirmed the priorities for deep strikes. So deep strikes are going to continue, it sounds like. Verified losses against Russia has suffered. So
Run away.
Man, working in an office all the time kind of sucks. U.S. and Iran agreed a 60-day ceasefire extension. Okay. All right, folks. Think we're going to wrap it up here for now. Seems like that's what we got in terms of the major news. I'm going to watch the MMA Guru's newest collab with see if I can show you guys the video talking about MMA Guru. It's going to be the Shuguru. And should be good if you're a fan of UFC. Anyways, whatever. I'm going to check that out. Thanks for joining me today. I will be streaming on probably Wednesday this week, if not tomorrow.